guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hello, welcome. So if you're following along, you would have just watched my festival hairstyles, and obviously now we are going to talk you through, go through, show you how to get a festival glam. Obviously festival season is among us. We are going, I went to my first one on Saturday and I've got a few more coming up, so I thought I'd show you some festival glam. Obviously it's in the summer, intense, you're hot, you want it to last all day, they're long days, so this is the look we created and my top tips. So if you like the sound of that, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, if you want to see how I got this festival makeup look, then please keep on watching. Right, festival makeup. I've just done a video on these festival hairstyles, so make sure you go check that out. But now we're gonna do our face. We're gonna do festival makeup. Obviously festivals are long days, they're in the summer, they're hot, so I'm also going to be focusing on like making sure that our skin stays on and fresh and all that good stuff. So I have moisturised my face with the Weleda Skin Food and I've soaked my brows. We are now going to go onto our eyes because obviously it's festival, we're going to be using colour, so we are doing our eyes first. So because we are using colour, P. Louise base is the best thing to probably use when going in with colour, because it brings out the colour in the pigments and yeah, it just makes it stand out a little bit more, and also you get a blank canvas when you start your eyes. So just on my Peaches soft concealer brush, I'm going to obviously carve out my brows. For palette today, of course we're using the BPerfect Carnival palette. That is literally the best palette to have if you want to go in with like some colour and stuff. I still don't want to, I want to make this like wearable. I'm not going like crazy eyes for festival because we do still want it to be wearable but just a little bit brighter. So obviously I'm carving out my brows with the P. Louise base and then patting it all across the lid so that we have a blank canvas. And then with a bigger fluffier brush we're just buffing this into the skin and patting all over to make sure we're all set to go with our colours. I know I'm wearing a blue top, but I feel like blue isn't always what people will necessarily go for like a wearable festival colour. So we're gonna go in with the pinks today. I feel like pink is such a classic. I went to Clockwork on Saturday and obviously I done an orange eye because it was Clockwork orange. I was wearing all black. I wanted to like have a little bit of a pop colour, so I went with an orange, but we've done plenty of orange on this channel, on my Instagram, in my life. Pink is a little bit different. I've done pink on Saf and it looked so nice, so I feel like I'm gonna sort of recreate what I done with saffron. So just on like a buffing brush, this is a little bit smaller, a bit more precise. We're gonna go in with Influence, which is this dark pink down here. I'm gonna try and keep this quite rounded today, so I'm gonna obviously start at the outer edge of my eye into the socket, and I'm just buffing backwards and forwards in circular motions. But like I said, because we're keeping this quite circular, I want to obviously, let me zoom you in a tiny little bit more. There we go. I want to obviously keep it to my eye shape, so that's why it's good to like keep it within the socket, and then we're just building this colour up. I mean, look at the pigment already in these colours. You seriously do not need a lot. Like so. Then the same on the other side. So again, keeping to my eye shape. Obviously it looks very crazy at the minute. We are going to buff this out so that it is softer. So to buff it out, I'm going to take a smaller, fluffier brush. This is my Doll Beauty DB13 brush, so it's a little bit smaller, nice and fluffy. I'm going to take makeup, which this is this really pale baby pink. I'm going to use this to buff this out, but I'm starting from the inner corner and I'm just going along that edge We want it to be, again, still keeping to like a circular motion, but I don't want to add too like much colour and like wing it out. I just want it to be really soft. So I'm starting from the inner part of my eye and then just dragging it around this edge just to soften it. But again, I want this to sort of like blend with like into my skin and my makeup. I don't want to add too much colour, if that makes sense. Just nice and soft, really light-handed. Then the same on the other side. So again, starting from the inner part of my eye and then buffing outwards across this line to soften it all, keeping it nice and soft. And then I'm going to go back in with that first shade Influence and just build it up a tiny bit, nothing too crazy, but obviously we have lost a little bit of that colour, so I'm just gonna reinforce it. Same on the other side. And then no additional shadow on this brush, but again I'm just buffing over those lines just so that it's nice and seamless. And then, so when I done it on Saf, we done a full glittery eye. So what I done is I got a pink glitter, which in this case I'm going to use Temptation, which is just above Influence in this palette, and I'm going to place this on top of what I've just laid down just to give it an extra sparkle, just to again intense it, but just really lightly going over it, not bringing it too high up obviously over that blend, but just adding it to the sides of my eyes where that dark, like where the darkest point of that shadow is. Because like, let's be real, festival season, festival makeup, the bigger the better. You just want to, I feel like this is really bright today. Let me turn you down a little bit. Is that better? There we go. Yeah, you want to, like, it's an excuse to go all out with the glitter, the sparkles, the crazy makeup, crazy outfits, just going wild. And then of course I'm gonna go back in with that second brush which I buffed out with and just make sure all buffed out, but obviously I've now added a little bit of a shimmer to that. And then more glitz. I very rarely go in with pigments these days, but if I'm gonna go in with pigment, it's gonna be when I'm going to a festival. So this is my Peaches and Cream Gatsby, and I'm going to apply this to the inner part of my eye. Obviously I'm going to get a little bit more P. Louise base on the back of my hand, just so we can, just like the tiniest bit. And with my soft concealer brush, I'm not carving out like my crease, I'm not doing a full cut crease moment, but I am going to place a little bit of P. Louise base in the first like 3/4 of my eye, as if I am doing a half cut crease, but not obviously precise, just so that we've got something tacky for the Gatsby pigment to like stick onto, like so. And then with my Peaches PC something brush, it's the pigment brush, I'm going to take Gatsby and place that where I just put that P. Louise base, and like look at that. And then I'm also going to go back in with that brush with the glittery pink and blend them both together. But basically we've got a full glittery eye, so our eyes are like glitter balls. And then back in with that buffing brush that I've been using just to soften it. But like, as you can see, I don't know what's happened to this camera today, it's too bright. It's just all glitter on the eye. So again, same on the other eye. Placing Gatsby where we put that P. Louise base, really brightening this eye up. And then back in with the pink glitter, just to blend the Gatsby into it. And then the buffing brush to blend it all together. Like so. So we've got very glittery eyes, but it is festival season and I love it. I literally love having it all glittery, and it's really simple actually to do. It's just using the two shadows to buff it and then just add in loads of glitter. So I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to quickly stick some lashes on. I'm going to go in with my Primalash in Ivy, just a nice all over fluffy lash. Okay, so that is the lashes on and I look done. So we're festival eyed up. Right, now we're going to move on to our skin. So obviously, like I said, it's a long day. We want to make sure that our face is going to stay on all day. So I've gone in with my Weleda, which that's all sunk in now. But I've been really enjoying this MUA Pro Base Hyaluronic Acid Jelly Primer. So again, I'm going to put this on my face. And this creates like a tackiness to your skin so that it grips your makeup on. So I'm just pushing that, as you can see, it like it's all like tacky, so it creates a nice grip. Then I'm gonna obviously go with my Flawless filter as always at the moment, just on the high points of my face, just because again, summer makeup, we want to be glowy but we also want it to last. So I'm just using my stippling brush to buff this all out. It's got a nice little shine going on. I'm then gonna use a trusty foundation just because again we want it to last all day, but I'm not gonna go in with as much. I want it to last, I want it to be full coverage, but I don't want too much makeup on, do you know what I mean? Because it is gonna, well, it probably is gonna be hot and you just don't want to feel like you're completely caked. So I'm gonna go in my Nars Natural Radiant. I'm gonna go in my Barcelona. I mean, it is running out, so I'm gonna have to scrape the bottle and hope for the best. But because I said I don't want to go in with too much, it shouldn't be too bad. So just scraping it. There we go, like so. And then same as always, we're gonna buff this into the skin, but we are patting. I'm really sorry if my camera's a bit messed up today. I don't know what's happened because I've not changed the setting, but I feel like it's really bright. Yeah, I've not gone on with as much foundation today, but we are pressing it into our skin so that it lasts long. And like, I know I love this foundation. This is a trusty foundation that's gonna last all day. But yeah, you're really pushing it into the skin. Bring this down my neck. I think I'm gonna have to add a little bit onto my neck. Oh, I've not actually put this foundation on myself in so long, because if you've been keeping up to date with my makeup videos, I've been saying how I've not really been going in with foundation. So I've not used this in the longest time myself. I mean, I always use it on my clients, but I've forgotten how much I love it. My skin looks airbrushed. Right, and then we're gonna go in with our cream contour. So I'm gonna go in with the Jordanaticia cream bronzer. This is in So Yacht, and we're gonna bronze up our face. Again, you want to make sure you're patting this into the skin, pushing it all the way in so that you get the best like flawless finish and it lasts all day, especially for festivals. On forehead as well. The idea for this makeup is it's going to be bold because obviously hence the eyes and stuff, and I'm going to add like lots of blush and like make it bold in that sense, but my actual skin I don't want to add too much. I don't want to be like feeling caked and like sweating it all off. I'm then going to take my trusty Dull Beauty DB7 brush, which I always use to add a little bit of nose contour down the centre of my nose. Obviously I've not done my concealer in that yet. I'm going to do that after I've done my cream blush. So like I said, I'm going to use quite a bit of cream blush, and I'm going to use quite a bright one. So I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Mitchell blush in Sweet Cheeks, because this is like really bright and obviously it's going to match the eyes really well. And I'm going to buff this out and blend it up into my eye look all the way up, and same on the other side. These literally buff out so nice. But yeah, I'm buffing it all the way up to my temples to really create a blushed look. buffing it all out. Love that. It literally matches the eyes perfectly. You can't, I don't know what's going on. So as you can see, we've got a lot of blush going on. Right, now we're going to do our concealer. So again, I'm going to use my Tarte just because it is obviously my thickest concealer. But again, I'm just not going to go in with a lot. So I'm going to do a dot right in the black point of my dark circles. And I don't want to do too much up here because I don't want to lose that blush that I've just put down. But we're just gonna do the center of my face as well, and then we're gonna buff this out. So obviously on the nose we're keeping the concealer in between our nose contour. So I'm going in between both brushes to make sure that it stays there, and then I'm just fanning out the top, like my forehead, and then we're gonna get rid of these dark circles from lack of sleep that I've been getting where I was out the weekend. Not bringing it too further down as well. We don't want to lose that blush. Going back in with that blusher brush just to make sure that we're not losing any of that. But as you can see, using a thicker concealer, it still covers everything. But obviously I've only gone in with a tiny bit, so I'm not caking it on. Again, going back with this just to reinforce that blush, like so. And then I'm gonna get my beauty blender and I'm gonna get the bottom of it and I'm gonna push everything in. Again, this is gonna make my makeup last all day, get rid of any of them like brush strokes, so that we have the most flawless base. My skin looks flawless. This Natural Radiant Longwear is the best, and I don't feel like I've hardly got anything on, so that's perfect. Then of course we are setting this in place. Now for an all-day festival we need to bake, there's no way around it. So I've been using the Revolution translucent setting powder at the minute, and I've actually been really enjoying it. Laura Mercier is always sold out. If I'm speaking with a lisp, it's because I've really hurt my mouth, so I'm struggling to speak right now, but you know. Laura Mercier always sold out, so I've been using the Revolution one and I've actually really enjoyed it. So I'm going in with my beauty sponge and picking some of that up, and then also my concealer brush, because obviously we want to put out any under eye creasing before we put this on. So I'm going to push this into the skin before I bake. So I'm pushing it all in to set it, and then I'll pick up some more and then I'll do my bake, like leave a little bit there just so that it stays there and it'll last all day then. But if you push it in first, that makes sure it's all set. So again, same on the other eye, and then pushing it all in and then leaving a bit to bake. And of course we are sorting out our nose contours. So we've got some nose contour going on, and then we're going to set everywhere else in place, but we're pushing it all in. So all our smile lines, our chin, obviously the places that get most oily, centre of our forehead as well, and the top lip, because if it's a hot day the top lip is always an issue. So then for bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Jordanaticia again and use the top part of this, and I'm going to bronze up my whole face. So I don't really do much different for festival makeup, other than obviously the eyes I don't normally do on a normal day, and with my base obviously I just make sure that it is all set into place a bit more than I usually would. And like I say, I try to not go in with as much product, but just make sure that what I do go in with is really pushed into the skin and set, but I don't want to feel like I've got too much on. And then I'm going to go back in with the powder and bake underneath here to give that sharp contour line, like so. And then of course blush time again. I'm going to go with my Doll Beauty Costa del Dol blush because it's nice and bright, and of course we're going quite a bit of blush to match this eye, bringing it all the way up to my temples, just because one, I love blush anyway, but like for a festival you can get away with being nice and rosy and like pink to match these eyes. So I'm gonna go in with my Java Morphe brow pencil, but again I'm not going and doing too much. I'm just gonna focus mainly on the front of them by doing hair strokes going up and then filling in any gaps, but because I've soaked them I don't really want to go in with too much anyway. So literally just the front of my brow, hair strokes upwards, and then filling in any gaps that we've got going on, brushing it through as well because we don't want it to be too harsh. And then we can wipe this bake away. So just with a fluffy brush I'm gonna wipe all of this away, and this will then show how smooth your under eye is, and it's all set into place then, and it should last all day. I didn't really need to top up on powder. I mean, powder is the thing that I always do take out with me anyway. I don't take out anything else other than powder, just like in case I do need a little freshen up. And then I'm just going to get my bronzer brush and just buff in any of the lines so there's no harsh lines. But my skin is looking smooth. And then of course we're going to go with my Morphe setting spray, and I'm going to coat my face in this. I'm literally going to drown it, so like I am looking a bit wet, but obviously then I just sit here for a little bit and let that all sink in. Then once that's all soaked in and like you're looking a bit more fresh again, all the powders have like melted together, that's why I always spray my face at that point. And I'm going to go in with highlighter. So this is the MAC Soft and Gentle. Of course we're going to go in with a little bit more today because it is festival makeup, but just patting this on the high points of my face, down my nose, and that is our skin done. I will just add a little bit of powder at the end, but we're going to finish off our eyes. So for our eyes, of course, we're going back in with the Revolution, no, the BPerfect Carnival palette, and we're practically just doing the same what we done on the top of our eyes. So I'm going to get a small Molly Cosmetics MC19 brush. It's like a small angled brush, and I'm going to go in with Temptation, and I'm going to go along my lash line, up really close to my lash line with this, and then the same on the other eye. And then I'm gonna get a small little buffing brush and get makeup and just buff this out. And then of course, because it is festival, I'm gonna add a little bit of sparkle on the bottoms of my lash line as well. I'm just gonna place the Temptation, the pink glitter, underneath as well. Right, so I've just added the glitter to the bottom of my eyes as well, a little bit of mascara, and then we're going to do our lips. So I mean, I am gonna go in with my BarryM Russet, which has got like a pink undertone to it for lip liner, just to match obviously my eyes, like so. And then we're gonna go in with Dull Beauty My Love, and then my Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is in the shade, it's in Ice, just over the top. And then of course, once we're all done, we're gonna spray our face again, obviously not as much as the first time, but just a little extra spray so that it stays on. And then this is when I will go in with my powder. So this is my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush. I mean, it's literally broken on its last little legs, but I like to just get a little bit of this, tap it on my under eye, and again any places that need a little bit of extra like powder so that we don't start getting oily. But there we have it. This is my festival makeup look. So my top tips are to just go in with a little bit of less like coverage like going with your full coverage products, but just a little bit less of the product on your face when you're going to a festival, just because you don't want to feel too cakey. You don't want it to like feel too much in like the heat, because obviously you're intense and stuff, it does get very hot. But if you're still going with like your full coverage thick things, you're still going to get that same airbrushed full coverage look. The bigger the better. Go all out, put some brightness on your eyes. But again, like I feel like this is still wearable. I don't think people would look at me like, oh my god, like this is way too much. Do you know what I mean? It's still festival vibes. Lots of blush, lots of highlighter, just a little bit more of all the bolder stuff. But yeah, this is the finished look. Oh, and make sure you're setting it with your powder, okay? Baking, pushing it into the skin. It will last all day, trust me. But yeah, this is the makeup all finished. Hope you enjoyed. Please comment down below anything else you would like to see from me. Before you leave, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my festival hairstyles as well. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.